Pops up online. I don't actually, I can, she can there and I'm see if she knows how to spell it. So I would have to be there. That would be a good city to send. Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to call the January 8th, 2024 Dayton Town Council to order at 6:00 p.m. I'd like to remind everybody there are sign-up sheets over at the door for public comments this evening. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Can we have roll call, please, Ms. Hall?
Certainly. Ms. Estes is absent tonight. Ms. Matthias.
Present.
Mr. Walls.
Present.
Mr. Seward.
Present.
Ms. Pennell.
Present.
Mr. Dijak.
Present.
Mayor Jackson.
Present. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet this evening. We ask that you comfort those around the world that didn't enjoy the holidays, whether it be from sickness or health. Would like to thank you for the officers, first responders, and men and women of the military that protect us across this nation and worldwide. And Miss Matthias' mother is cancer free, so blessings on that family. We pray in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Proclamation.
You got it right there.
Can we have proclamation for National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day? Enter a motion to approve the proclamation, National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I'll go ahead and read that. Recognizing January 9th as the National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, whereas the health and the safety of all Virginians is important to the happiness, prosperity, and well-being of our Commonwealth families and communities. And whereas Virginia is the proud home of more than 19,000 dedicated law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line to keep our community safe, and many of those residing in Dayton and Rockingham County. And whereas we appreciate the extraordinary efforts and sacrifices made by officers and their family members daily in order to protect our schools, workplaces, roadways, and homes. Whereas we particularly remember almost 2 years ago that Bridgewater College police officers John Painter and J.J. Jefferson nobly protected the students and staff of Bridgewater College on February 1st, 2022, along with the support of numerous law enforcement agencies, including our Dayton Police Chief Justin Trout and Lieutenant Travis T.J. Hooker, and responding to the scene with bravery. And whereas National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day is an opportunity to show our support for law enforcement and specifically recognizing our local Dayton Police Department. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Dayton Town Council and on behalf of the residents that January 9th is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in Dayton, and the council encourages commemoration throughout the rest of the month. Thank you for the police. And you're
I'll make the motion.
all right.
Second.
Ms. Matthias got the second, beat you out. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for pairing that, Bradford. First action item is a resolution regarding time of regular meetings and inclement weather meeting dates. According to our charter council is to fix the date and time of the regular meetings each year. I need a motion to adopt the resolution regarding time of regular meetings and inclement weather meetings. And this is something that we do every January just to set the dates and the other dates. So do I have a motion?
I move.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford. Do we have any discussion on this? Ms. Hall, can we have roll call?
Yes, certainly. Ms. Pennell. Aye. Mr. Seward.
Aye.
Ms. Matthias. Aye. Mr. Walls.
Aye.
Mr. Dijak.
Aye.
Mayor Jackson.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
And Mayor Jackson, we need to go back to approval of the minutes.
Oh, thank you very
Mhm.
much. Need a motion to approve the minutes for December 11th, 2023 for the regular town council meeting as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt, but with some minor edits that I sent the deputy clerk, and she agreed to incorporate. If you'd like, they were minor in nature and editorial. They were, bear with me a second. They were, let me pull it up here. Under section, under public comments, to add an apostrophe on Nanny's Nook. Under council comments, the spelling of Wilbur Pence Middle School. And under unfinished business to read, quote, neither the engineer nor the developer attended, and therefore there would be no discussion. And that's regarding the street names. With those three minor edits, entertain a motion to adopt as amended.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Seward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Yeah, the next item for consideration is the Dayton Town Council Code of Ethics. And this was brought about, I would say, probably 5 years ago. There was never any code of ethics. And when we attended a training put on by the VML for the state, that was something that they encouraged. So we adopted that and kind of changed some of the things to accommodate Dayton. After each election, council will adopt a code of ethics for the members of the Dayton Town Council and for the members of all boards, committees, and commissions appointed by the Dayton Town Council. A code of ethics is important as it clearly lays out the rules of behavior and provides the groundwork for a preemptive warning. Regardless of size, the standard for ethical behavior should be established. I need a motion to adopt the code of ethics for the members of the Dayton Town Council and for all members of all boards, committees, and commissions appointed by the Dayton Town Council.
So moved.
Mr. Stewart and Mr. Walls for a second. Yeah, Rob and Bob. Do we have any discussion on this? Roll call, please, Ms. Hall.
All right, Mr. Seward.
Aye.
Ms. Matthias. Aye. Ms. Pennell. Aye. Mr. Dijak.
Aye.
Mr. Walls.
Aye.
Mayor Jackson.
Aye, motion passes. And we have one appointment action, where it's necessary for the continuity of government. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Brian Bourne as the alternate member of the HRMPO Technical Advisory Committee with Maggie Roach serving as the primary member. And we thought we got all of those things done last month.
There's always one.
So moved. And just for clarification for everyone's benefit, it's the HRMPO is Harrisonburg Rockingham Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's basically the transportation advisory group for the region.
Say that 3 times.
There you go. Yeah.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Matthias, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And we have nobody signed up for the public comments this evening. All right, so we'll move on to staff reports, starting with Mr. Bourne.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Good to be back from the holidays. It was a nice holiday and it was nice being here in town in Dayton for that. I got to attend several of the events, meet a lot of people. That's always a good thing. Great place to be. Aside from what's in the written report in the agenda, I've got a few other items. I had the opportunity of attending the Virginia Municipal League Conference virtually. Friday, which was a very, very good conference. They had sessions about the General Assembly, land use and zoning, and the council manager form of government and FOIA, which were quite informative. And I know the legislative session starts on the 10th, and there's some things we should be watching for. So we'll keep an eye out on those as best we can. And let's see, we are moving forward on the Silver Lake Nature Trail project. There's a meeting tomorrow, and staff and I walked that last week to take a look at that. And I also attended the first monthly town collaboration manager meeting virtually back in December. They are going to begin to have those in person, so I'm looking forward to meeting all of the other managers around surrounding towns. That would be nice. And let's see, completed a few training sessions with VRS the week before the holidays, FOIA training, ARMIC, cybersecurity, and a few others. Those were all online. And on a personal note, I now feel officially here in Virginia. I have a driver's license and I took possession of my apartment today. So,
Right, there you hear you.
so I'm here. And that's Mayor, that's all I have aside from what's in the packet.
Thank you, sir. Chief Trout for the police.
All right, Mayor and Council, you have my staff report. Mayor and Council, you have my staff report. The only thing I will highlight is we did go through accreditation last month. For those that don't know, it's 192 standards that we have to meet, assessed by outside reviewers. We met all 192 standards. They also have what they call major and minor returns. We had 0 major returns and 0 minor returns. So we go before the board in March for them to make their determination on whether or not we receive accreditation. So, but it's pretty positive. So that was my one highlight. It was a long time coming. A lot of work went into this. It is not an easy process. So we will be the first town agency in Rockingham to achieve it if they approve accreditation. So it's a good thing for the town, good thing for the people and the department. So.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Bowman,
Have nothing to report.
we always like it when you have nothing to report. Mr. Dijak for Economic Community Development and Finance, please, sir.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll just, I think, in Maggie's report, there's a lot of good information. I know the committee did not meet, but very excited to see wayfinding signs up, and we've got, thanks again, and we credit to Maggie and working with the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission for getting the RFP out, which is what, due the 29th, correct? For downtown revitalization grant consultant. So that's very exciting. As you recall, it's our $50,000 planning grant that was awarded to the town. So very excited for that. And I'll just take the opportunity to thank everyone for a great Christmas season. It was fantastic. I don't know how many events we can cram in this little town, but by golly, we've got the most, I think, seasonal spirit per capita of any town in the Commonwealth. So there you go. Thank you there and for the judges and all the Santa's helpers and everything. So thank you very much. And for finance, I've got no meeting. We since our meeting last month, I know we've got budget season is underway apparently. Is that right, Madam Treasurer? Okay, there you go.
Yep, budget season is on us again. Mr. Seward for Infrastructure and Police.
Neither of us met infrastructure or police, but congratulations to the police force, because I know TJ and Chris, a lot of the officers pitched in with the chief to get all that done. So.
And Mr. Walls.
We did not meet, but we are going to meet next week, talk about events for 2024.
And Ms. Matthias for Personnel.
We did not meet either, but I'm sure at some point Brian will want us to.
It's coming.
I know.
Yeah, I got a couple of things to pile on to Brian's report. He attended the VML conference and we had a council member that also actually attended that in person. So thank you, Ms. Pennell, for going down. Mr. Dijak and I have taken advantage of that, and it really is beneficial. And when you get to your comments, I'd like for you just to kind of fill in with that. You know, in addition to those type of trainings, every year council and staff are also required to do a conflict of interest training, where we're actually tested on that, and a Freedom of Information Act training as well. So we have to do those throughout the year electronically. So there's other than just sitting up here, there's lots of other things that are done. And to go to Bradford touched on the $50,000 planning grant. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to create a master plan for downtown Dayton and what, you know, the future, what we want downtown Dayton to look at. So we received that $50,000 grant. We've got the FRP out now to get some people to bid on that, and then we'll choose that. But it really is a great opportunity for the town moving forward to have a roadmap of what downtown area is going to look like. So and that's been a lot of work. I know, Maggie, that's been going on a long time. So thank you for all your efforts on that. And as Bradford says, every year, you know, we do such a great job for Christmas. And, you know, Brian was able to get on board just in time to be able to enjoy some of those events and stuff like that. So but again, for the citizens and everybody else that decorate the house and comes out, it's nice to see the community Christmas party was back this year. We had what, 80, 90 people that showed up for that. So that was well represented from citizens as well. So thank you, everybody that worked on getting that pulled together, and all the other events that we did through the not just 2023, but over the holiday season as well. Other council comments? You're
I
up.
can jump in on that. Happy New Year, everyone. We definitely had a wonderful Christmas holiday season. It was an honor to be there at the conference in Virginia in person. And my first one, of course, in that context. I used to live in Richmond for about 7 years, so having it in Richmond and just being there was wonderful to experience. I think really a lot of it I got out of it. I will send, once they send that particular presentation, I can forward that along just for informational purposes. But one thing that's really important is the networking, of course, of being able to work with your colleagues and to see what's happening throughout the state, the Commonwealth is really important. So I made some great connections there. And then also to hear what's happening, of course, with the agenda and the budget with regards to our governor. And that was important too, to make sure we know where the focuses are. As a therapist myself by trade, is a lot of funding is going into looking at our mental health. And so that was exciting to see. And then also understanding again how this particular administration is going to operate and how that trickles down to us in our localities as well. So very informative. I was jesting with Brian, you know, when he had the opportunity for the session on town manager and town councils, and so we're looking forward to those wonderful relationships. But then other things too, very important, of course, making sure that we are understanding our liabilities and our, you know, other legal aspects of things are really important too. And so very informative, helpful, and I look forward to attending again in the future.
Thank you, Pam. Anyone else? All right, so we have one unfinished business that we worked on last week, but we didn't have names. Staff has put together some names for street names. So we're going to talk about approval of street names for the new Dayton Crossing subdivision. Can we have a staff report on that, Ms. Roche?
Yep. So as you said, the developer of Dayton Crossing has requested that staff come up with street names for the new subdivision. You all have 8 street names and we need to approve 4 of them. So I'll quickly go through that list. So the first one actually is Menno Simmons Drive. That is the only street name from the original list the developer gave us that is still included on this list in front of you. And that was at the request of the developer. So it's on the list. You guys can decide if you want to include that or not. And then Dayton Crossing Drive is another one. Southview Street actually is the only one on this list that is not available. You'll see it where it says pending GIS confirmation from the county. That was the only one that they denied. The rest are Wetzel Way, Burkholder Street. Both of those are a nod to adjoining property owners. Collier Court and Fletchall Street, which are nods to the former council members who passed. Rifetown Road, which was actually the original name of Dayton before it was Dayton, it was called Rifetown. Conservatory Lane kind of goes to Shenandoah Conservatory that used to be here in Dayton. And then Marvel Lane, which was actually the original name of Cargill. So a little bit of history there. So yeah, like I said, we need to pick 4 street names to approve for the new subdivision. So I will leave it up to you guys to discuss.
But I'll let you start with the
Yeah.
minute.
I also want to just give some input on the Menno Simons name. I was born and raised Mennonite in New York City and continue to be a Mennonite in the Emmanuel Mennonite Church here in Harrisonburg, and serve as the board chair for Anabaptist World, which is a Mennonite publication, and also just a theologian as far as my master's in divinity and Anabaptist theology. All those different things to say is that particularly Menno Simons, who the Mennonite Church is named after, in the 1500s, as far as Reformation period, I should say, where again, the church broke from the Roman Catholic Church. However, Menno Simons is, except for historical context, is not someone that the Mennonite Church lifts up or necessarily honors in a day-to-day way. It would be very unusual to have anything named after Menno Simons. You may have a historical library here in one of the different Mennonite colleges or schools, but not a church, not a town, not anything, a center or anything like that. So for myself, just in my background and in those that, are part of the Mennonite community that I can represent, that would not, it seems awkward and it seems not genuine or fitting, if you will. And so to slap Menno Simons' name on something because we have Mennonites in the area. And also, it's not that simple as far as the Mennonite community, as I'm a liberal Mennonite, if you will. Again, from New York City, right? And so, but they are very conservative and different sects of the Mennonite church in the community, and everyone has a different take or relationship with our history as well. So I would not be for naming anything Menno Simons at all. And I just want to come from that, not just, just from that historical background that I would have. So I want to put that there
Thank
for
you.
consideration.
Thank you. Yeah, and as Ms. Pennell was sharing that information, I did a search, for that name street, court. I mean, there's no lanes, there's no street that we could find. So there's not any precedent in doing that. So I had conversations with some other Mennonites in the area. Some didn't feel like it was fitting. Some said, well, we wouldn't be jumping up and down about it, but we're not gonna jump up and down against it either. So, based on what you're saying in other conversations in town, that probably seems very fitting not to move forward with that.
And one other comment too, if you would think about our Anabaptist values, which of course are peace and justice, but it's also a level of humility and humbleness. And so we wouldn't name, like, it's very different maybe from other cultures, but we're not name something after ourselves, if you will, people in history. So that's something else to take into consideration. It does actually contradict the values of the Mennonite community and church.
And while you said that, I'll move down to 4 and 5. And the Wetzel Way and Burkholder Street have no interest in having a street name after them as well. For that very reason, they don't want any attention to be to brought onto them. So that there's two names there that would not be. So that brings us down to Dayton Crossings Drive. Does anybody have any strong thoughts against that? I think so. So, all right, so everybody is in agreement for Dayton Crossings?
Yes.
All right, Maggie, one down.
Okay, we got one.
Now, if we look at the sheet, street number 1 would be the main street coming in off of Mason. So is anybody opposed to that main road coming off of 257 being that Dayton Crossing Drive, or do we just want to wait until we get the other 3 names?
I think that one should be, this is the main entrance,
that
should be
Okay,
the road.
anybody opposed to that?
That makes
All right,
sense.
street 1, Ms. Roche.
I got it.
All right, so the next one down is Southview Street, which we have found is unavailable.
Mhm.
And then we come down to Collier Court and Fletchell Street. And these are 2 council. Well, I didn't expect that.
Understood.
These are 2 council members that shortly after I got on council, within 5 weeks of each other, passed. The Fletchell family lives right behind me, and you know, they have 3 young sons. And we talked to Miss Fletchell repeatedly about doing something down at the park, Sunset Park, because that's where the kids play. And you know, for 18 months we had those conversations, and then I finally told her, look, when you're ready to do something, you let us know, and we're not going to keep coming. You know, I didn't want to feel like we were badgering her to do something. So so my thought is they probably would not be in favor of that. Todd Collier's family moved, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Todd Collier's family moved out of town shortly after that. And I'm the only one that's still sitting on council that was there. That was an incredibly difficult time for those of us on council to have one, and then, you know, shortly thereafter to have another council member pass. But so I apologize for getting choked up, but
It was a tough, it was,
tough time.
yeah.
So then we come down to Rifetown Road, which in having conversations, and for those that don't know the history of Dayton, Dayton used to be called Rifetown. So that's kind of where that name came from. Do we have anybody that is opposed to that name?
I think the only thing I'd note on that, I think it's great historical reference for Rifetown. I think it's probably fine. The only thing I heard from a few people just bouncing that off was just the potential confusion if you're not familiar with the history to potentially think, oh, is Rifetown Road going somewhere? But I think if it's an internal street, then we should be in good shape. It could be a nice nod.
If it was the main entrance
yeah.
coming in, that people think, oh, I'm gonna go to Rifetown by
Right.
going down this road. But if
right.
it's an internal street,
Start thinking we're coming up with a new major city or something on the
Well, can
horizon.
we, instead of Rifetown, just
Okay.
make it
Or not.
Rife Street?
well, as long as it was an interior road, it would be, that was the concern. If it was gonna be, if that was off of 257,
Yeah.
was somebody gonna think that they were actually gonna go to, not familiar with the area, that they were gonna go
Yeah.
somewhere down that road?
Yeah, like a Singer's Glen Road or
Right.
Linville Road or something like that. We're actually going to another
And
town.
there's
So
lots of those
So if it
around.
would be 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
Right.
I think it's fitting, you know, we're great historic. Kind of the roots of town, it's kind of fitting to have that
right.
maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think everybody's in
Yeah.
agreement with that.
Fine with that.
And again, as we've talked about subdivisions and now road names, it's been important for council to, you know, keep the look and feel of Dayton. So when we make decisions, it's about, you know, is that decision gonna look and feel like, you know, the rest of Dayton? So we try not to have those outliers, and we work
Right.
hard on making sure that, you know, we're talking to the community and making sure that we're bouncing ideas off each other as well.
Right. My only request on that, just if everyone's good, would be to, since we're looking at it being in the interior road, if it could just be Rifetown Street or Rifetown, that'd be my
No, I
recommendation.
agree. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So you got that Rifetown Street.
Yes. Is there a preference on which street, 2, 3, or 4?
Let's get the other ones and then we'll figure that out. And then we have, Conservatory Lane. In having conversations, when we started talking about this, we wanted it to be something that, obviously fit Dayton, but also, does that make sense having it Conservatory Lane where it's really nowhere near what the conservatory was? It's not off of College. So that didn't seem like it really fit in, what we were trying to do there. Does everybody agree with that? And then, the Marval Lane, for those of you who have been around here for a while, long before Cargill, the original poultry plant that was there was Marval, and that's where that came from. And then we reached out to our resident historian. I'm not sure. I didn't see up there.
She's on Zoom.
Huh?
Good.
She's on Zoom.
Is she on
Yeah.
Zoom? Miss Cheryl Lyon is always a wealth of knowledge for our history. So she did come up with some names that she shared. Hatchery Road, and not far from where, actually right behind the municipal building here, he created the incubator. So that's where the turkey incubator was there. So she recommended either Hatchery Road or Blosser Street in name, after him. We probably, I don't know, does anybody have any strong feelings about Hatchery Road versus Blosser?
I like Blosser, but.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
There
I
probably
think
is
there
somewhere
is.
that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Gratis, okay. And then the other one, so Blosser Street, and then there was also the Shrum family had a block business, and a lot of the bricks in Dayton, they were out on 42. A lot of the bricks in Dayton homes came from the Shrum brick company. So that was another one that, has historic, to Dayton. A lot of the houses around here are built with those blocks. Blosser, he had the incubator, which, for the poultry industry, that was certainly huge. And then there was another name, Dedamore, but we already have a Dedamore in town. And then Kiefer Drive, or Kiefer, he was a highly regarded Dayton musician who wrote songs, lyrics, poetry, and he actually lived down on Main Street. He influence was throughout the South, and he also had a connection to the Rubish Printery that used to be here as well. So in addition to the list that we had, we've got a couple more options here.
One note on one of those, I believe there's already a Shrum in the county.
You believe there is a Shrum in the county? Okay. Oh, actually, we talked about
Yep,
that
we
this
did. Yep,
afternoon.
we did.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were going to check on that. So that takes care of Shrum. Blosser.
Let's see one.
Any?
Yeah. I'll still run these through GIS at
Right.
the county just to double check, but
Right,
you
for
can
sure.
usually get a good sense on Google.
So does
Yeah.
anybody have any thoughts, interest in Blosser? Shrum is obviously out. Or do we want to got two names and think about brainstorm some other ideas? And
What about that
I'm sorry.
Harrison Drive on your list?
Well, and there's a lot of Harrisons around, and that
Yeah.
was the,
Yeah.
obviously, Ford Harrison, Daniel Harris, but there could be, I mean, there's a lot of Harrisons. So that was
Yeah.
what we thought, that might be confusing as, where that actually came from.
Mhm. I think it would be associated with Harrisonburg.
Right,
probably being so
right.
close.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that
Yeah.
could be construed.
Oh, what about Blosser and Kiefer then?
I'm not opposed to
Yeah,
either of
Blosser
those.
Street and Kiefer Street.
What's
Keep the
Okay.
musician.
And that is a big part of the history. I mean, downtown wouldn't be where it is without that.
Oh.
I think they went through the fire and or turn of the century too, and yeah.
Kieffer.
We have our GIS checker over here.
Excellent.
Here, the closest keeper, Waynesboro.
Okay.
And that's not in the county, so that would
It
not
should be fine. Yeah. So Blosser, Kiefer,
So Blosser, Blosser.
yeah.
And do we want to do that as street or way or?
I would say maybe just, I would just suggest keep it straight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Blocker
Maggie?
Street, have a nice flow to it. Yeah.
All right, so Blosser Street.
And Kiefer Street, I think is okay too. Kiefer,
We can't do lane, right? No, cause it's not.
you could, I don't- yeah. Kiefer Court.
Although I guess we don't have any cul-de-sacs proposed at this time,
No.
right? Because right, Maggie, the idea with Street 4 is eventually when
Yeah.
they plat further, they'd have to connect,
Mhm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, no cul-de-sacs.
I mean, I'd be good with just keeping streets and just Dayton Crossing Drive being the only, because it's the main.
Yep.
Okay.
Bless you.
Anybody opposed to those? Well, that was a whole lot easier than I thought it was. gonna be.
Now you understand where to go.
All right, so
So are the four we have, is it Dayton Crossing Drive?
and that would be Street 1.
That's Street 1, and then the other ones are Blosser Street, Kiefer Street, and Rifetown Street, was that,
Mhm.
okay. They wanted street. Okay, you guys have a preference on the interior roads, which one is which?
Well, now you're just asking a lot, Megan.
I know. It's okay if you guys don't have a preference, we
All right,
can,
so,
we can,
Yeah.
okay,
Make it easy.
Yep.
Okay.
all right,
I'm good with that if.
beautiful.
So you're saying, yeah, so in other words,
Right,
that'd be,
so Rifetown would be number 2, Blosser would be number 3, and Kiefer would be number 4. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Right?
I think with that, we would be looking for some sort of formal motion.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah.
All right. So I need a motion to name the roads for Dayton Crossing subdivision. Street number 1, Dayton Crossings Drive. Street number 2, Rifetown Street. Street 3, Blosser Street. And Street 4, Kiefer Street.
I'll make that motion.
All right. So we've got Mr. Dijak and Ms. Pennell. Could I get a roll call, please, Ms. Hall?
Yes. Mr. Seward,
Aye.
Ms. Pennell,
Aye.
Mr. Dijak,
Aye.
Ms. Matthias,
Aye.
Mr. Walls,
Aye.
Mayor Jackson.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for that. That's gonna be next month.
Next one, okay.
That's one of the things that you and I talked about today, Brian, that's gonna be for next month, is what he was asking about.
Okay.
Do we have any new business this evening? All right, I need a motion to adjourn, and since Miss Estes isn't here this evening, somebody else, oh, Bob just jumped right on there.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Miss Lyon. Oh, we had the public comment. You must have been late.